Hey everybody, some of you guys may know I'm a managing partner, co-founder at a Big Sky Capital, which is a venture capital firm. We focus on investing in emerging markets, in the founders building enterprise SaaS solutions. So a lot of the technology organizations, companies that we invest in. So we've decided to go on the Southeast Asia tour, and I wanted to provide a quick recap on the tour itself and share some of those insights with you guys as well. So the trip started out with a very long flight from South Florida to Indonesia. So we flew to Jakarta. When I say we, my managing partner, he's based out of Kazakhstan, Adil Nurgozhin. So he flew from Kazakhstan, I flew from South Florida. So the flight was insane. I had a layover in Atlanta, I almost missed that connection. And then 17 and a half hour flight from Atlanta all the way to Seoul, South Korea. And finally landed in South Korea, here in Seoul. We're a 4-hour layover before we head out to Jakarta, which is the final destination. It's about 7-hour flight from Seoul to Jakarta. I thought it would be a short flight, but turns out it's actually a pretty long distance. At the end of the day, it was also productive because on those flights, I was able to do a lot of work. I caught up on sleep. As you know, I have 3 small children, and I did a lot of planning, did a lot of strategy. So that was, try to maximize the time on that flight. So very long flight, but at the end of the day, I try to make it very productive. So in Indonesia, we've had several meetings. The purpose of that to me overall trip was to meet with the portfolio companies, the companies we've invested into already, identify a few potential opportunities to invest, co-invest, and also expand our network of other VCs, our other investors in that space, in that region, so we could build relationships, share deal flow, co-invest, and potentially just share insights of what's going on in that particular region. So we've been able to accomplish that. First, we have a portfolio company in Indonesia, Jakarta company called Clockster. Essentially, it's an HR super app. So they provide from time management solutions to payroll for the small to medium business sector. So they're doing great. They've originally started in Kazakhstan and then they relocated to Indonesia, now trying to dominate completely brand new, unknown, dark waters of that market. And I gotta give kudos to the founders that they've been able to completely absorb that culture shock essentially, and new ways of doing business, new ways of selling, because selling at the end of the day is very difficult, let alone in a completely different culture. So they're doing great. We've spent time meeting with other VCs in this area as well. Try to inquire on the insights that they're seeing in their market. What are the different trends they're observing? What are they investing into? What are they refraining from? What are some of the ways to actually succeed in that space as a venture capitalist? So those were great insights. We're very thankful for the very generous information that these companies shared with us. In general, a lot of companies that take a more conservative approach to investing, we see that everywhere. And they're being a lot more diligent with the due diligence process, with a lot of the decision making. It's not as fast. So as a founder, you need to be very prepared for some of these very diligent, detailed conversations on the projections, on the current progress, on as far as the financials, and being able to provide a very detailed data room to help streamline the process of the decision making for the VCs. And these guys in that space confirmed that as well with us. So after 3 or 4 days in Jakarta, we took a short flight over to Singapore. Luckily, it was a very short flight, under 2 hours, so that was great. Singapore, very beautiful city state. It's extremely modern, but crazy expensive, very expensive. We had great meetings there. Some of my HBS alumni network is there, so they've been able to organize a few dinners for us. Great mini reunions, always great to catch up. One of our top performing portfolio companies is based out of Singapore, a company called Credilink. And essentially it's a fintech platform providing the financial solutions for the merchants and other small to medium-sized businesses. So they're doing great as well. We've been able to get into this deal and invest at the beginning of this year. So we had great meetings with them, get their insights on all the things going on. So more on that. I'm planning a podcast, actually a series of podcasts with the founders of that company. Met with a few VCs in that space, AIC as well, talk about the real estate investment opportunities. So they've been able to also provide the different insights on what are they seeing in this particular market. That's been great. Very similar to what we've seen in US and Central Asia and a lot of different markets. Nothing new, just a lot of the affirmations. After 3 days there, we took another short flight to Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, capital of Malaysia, and same exercise there. We've met with a few portfolio companies. One is companies called Boomgrow. I've been able to visit their facilities, and essentially they're able to provide green and sustainable technology solutions to grow the greens, grow the vegetables, everything that's imported into the country. They're able to grow that in a very closed and controlled environment, much faster, much more nutritious, and they have great track record with major, luxury hospitals, the top chefs in the area that demand that highly flavored, sustainable greens for the meals that they're cooking. So that's been great.
There's a farm right at the ceiling. It's currently the largest in Malaysia by production capacity.
Holy moly!
Yep, right to the ceiling. We planted the whole thing.
Holy, look at the size of this.
Yeah. The walls are fully insulated, 1.5 inch. So the temperature doesn't affect in and out. And we use this material so the light bounces back to the plants as well. So even this light that you see, we developed lights on our own. We work with Osram, the German company, Osram. So they give us the chips. So we've got an IP around the lights as well.
These are like special warming
Yes.
lights, or
These are full spectrum LED lights for agriculture, for indoor farming.
interesting.
Yeah, what we wanted to bring to this setup is to bring the whole idea of a car manufacturing or assembly plant where things are able to move. And because our system, we do not have any pipes and pumps, so none of our trays need to be at one location. It can move. So here we use a roller system where day one is here and we just push it along the roller and we harvest right at the end. So it's a one in and one out system, exactly like a manufacturing facility.
Kyled is an alternative investments platform that provides AI, machine learning, essentially advanced technologies in alternative investments. So they're doing great as well. We've had a great meeting with the founders. We've had a series of meetings with major VCs in that space, Goji, Kazana Capital. So those are major players in the area, much, much larger than us. But they've been able, they've been gracious enough to meet with us and share some insights and potentially exchange some deal flow, ability to potentially co-invest with them. So those been great meetings. So that was our last stop in Southeast Asia. After about 3-4 days in Kuala Lumpur, the best food in KL out of all 3 countries that we visited. Very affordable, great culture, so much, it's a great mix. But the food is, in general, is just amazing. Everywhere you go is just a restaurant on top of restaurant on top of restaurant, and every single one is better than the other. I've gained so much weight, I can't even imagine. I don't even want to get into how much, and I'm just, but I really enjoyed that time. So I thought it was just worth mentioning that. So from Malaysia, we took a trip back to Kazakhstan, and that was another journey. There's no direct flights to Kazakhstan, so we had to take a detour, go to Qatar. So that's about 7-hour flight to Qatar, about 6-hour layover there in Doha, and from Doha to Kazakhstan is another 5-6 hour flight. So I was pretty dead beat after that flight as well. But Kazakhstan was very short because we had to visit 2 cities, the Astana, the capital, and Almaty, and they were packed with a lot of great meetings as well. Our main office is actually in Astana for the Big Sky Capital, so we've been able to have a mini team meeting, some couple of dinners as a team, and just overall work on the company strategy, company DNA, company culture, all of that. Great exercises from that standpoint. So you're gonna be hearing a lot in the social media and just overall in the media about Big Sky Capital. So hopefully that starts coming out very soon. We had a few meetings with the board meetings that Adil and I are both serving on. So that's been great exercise just to see where the company is going and identify opportunities where we as board members can help. Because at the end of the day, if you're a board member, that's your primary role, that's your primary value that you can bring to the company is be of value. That's a quick summary, a quick overview about the trip. A very lengthy trip. I was gone for almost a month, missed my family, but I'm glad to be home. I'm glad to be back to this beautiful weather. And so we have a bunch of other trips planned, so stay tuned. Definitely share in the comments what would you like to hear more of, maybe deal analysis, maybe the companies we're investing in. And if you're a founder and you're building interesting solutions in B2B sector, in enterprise SaaS, reach out to us. Go to bigskycapital.co, fill out a form, and we always get back to every single founder that reaches out to us, no matter if it's a fit or if it's not a fit. We always provide feedback. Our team always takes time to review each deck that we receive from the founders because we know what it takes. We know how hard it is, and we take that very seriously. And we definitely appreciate all of the attention that you guys are giving to us as a consideration for potentially to allow us to invest into your company. So definitely do that. Stay tuned. Subscribe on all the channels. Big Sky Capital is very active on LinkedIn. We're going to have our Instagram channel as well very soon and Telegram. So subscribe, follow, let us know in the comments what would you like to hear more of. And I always appreciate you guys' time.